Welcome to the English version of our program for Para Ser Legal to be Legal. Today we're continuing our coverage of coronavirus, but specifically what happens if you have a visa to come into the United States but now you can't get here? What happens if you are here but now you can't go back home? What if you're here and the US government wants to deport you but your court date, well, the courts are closed? What if you have an appointment with immigration and now you can't get there because you're not feeling well, or the office is closed?
Calificas para ser legal, quieres saber, solo llama al abogado Andrés Mejer.
So, welcome to Para Ser Legal. My name is Andres Mejer. Please subscribe to our channel, tune in every week, share this with your friends. We do our best to keep you guys informed. If you're interested in immigration, this is the place to be. What if you have a visa to come to the United States? You've been working on this for a year now. You spent a fortune, or your employer has. You started the process, it got approved, you got an interview to go to the embassy, and all of a sudden, embassy's closed. What do you do now? Or you don't know if it's closed. Well, let me tell you, it's closed. Guaranteed. The Department of State has suspended routine visa service to all U.S. embassies and consulates as of March 20th, 2020. Yes, we're in 2020. Now, embassies and consulates will continue to provide emergency visa services. See the website for the embassy or consulate for more information. If you're a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, the embassy or consulate is still available for you, in particular if you're a U.S. citizen. Now, if you paid a fee for an appointment that has been canceled, don't worry about it. It'll still be valid for a year. Make sure you're in touch with the embassy or the consulate so you don't lose the time and money spent. They will send you a new date. Obviously, don't take a chance. Be in touch with them. Email them, call them, pester them. It is what it is. They are very difficult to get a hold of. If you have an attorney, contact him or her. Let them worry about it, because it really is a pain in the butt. You send an email and say, please don't contact me for 2 weeks. Well, you may want to contact before then. You may not want to wait. You will get a new date. It is for these are unusual circumstances. Problems happen, but it isn't like you canceled it, they agreed, and then they denied you for not showing up. That has happened. Just document everything you do. Keep a copy of everything just in case. What happens if you're already in the United States with a visa, but now you can't get back to your country? So if you came in with a visa waiver under a visa waiver program, or you applied for ESTA, you entered the U.S. through either JFK or Newark Airport, but now you can't leave because of the coronavirus. So understand the circumstances that we're talking about. Visa waiver. So we're talking about a situation where you're a citizen of the United Kingdom or Spain, Germany, France. You're in a particular country where you can enter the United States automatically for 90 days just by showing your passport. ESTA, it speeds up the process, it makes it easier for you, and you could do certain things electronically, but at the end of the day, you're a visa waiver country, and you have a VWP visa waiver visa. It means you didn't go and apply for a visa, get approved, get interviewed, and came in. No, you presented your passport, you came in automatically for 90 days. Well, now you're supposed to leave, and guess what? Airports closed down. There's no flights out, or your country is quarantined and you can't fly in. For whatever the reason, your 90 days is coming up and you're still here. What do? You contact Deferred Inspection Office at JFK, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and you request what's called satisfactory departure. It's good for 30 days. The number to call is 718, it's Brooklyn, 718-553-3683. That number again is 718-553-3683. At the moment, only these two airports have confirmed they will adjudicate these requests. I would call them first and ask them what to do, even if you entered from a different airport. That's what I would do. Alternatively, you can contact the airport that you entered and you can ask them for the deferred inspection unit from USCBP. CBP is Customs Border Patrol. I still would call JFK, but that's just me. I know them more. I'm in the area. If I'm in Los Angeles, I would know. I don't have any contacts over there firsthand from experience, but I'm sure they would be helpful. Well, I don't know if anybody's being helpful in these times, but I would like to think that at least they'd be understanding. So here's what's going to happen. You call them. They're going to ask you for your name, your date of birth, your passport number. You may also need to have your original departure itinerary. Remember when you came in with a round-trip ticket, you left England, you came to the US on February 12th, you were expected to leave on April 1st. That's your itinerary. That you had a return ticket. Well, now we're approaching April 1st and everything's closed. What do? This is what you're doing, and that's the situation that we're talking about. So you can request satisfactory departure if you have to leave within 14 days from when you contact the department. If you entered on March 20th and you're scheduled to leave in June, don't call them on March 24th. Wait, a lot can happen. So you need to be about to depart 2 weeks before. Now, if your period of admission has already expired, meaning they gave you 90 days and you already passed those 90 days, your case is going to be decided on a case-by-case basis. Basically, you have to be reasonable. How long is the closure going to last? If it lasts 3 months, well, then we understand why you might be 3 months late. Because if you're supposed to call and leave within 14 days, how do you do that if you still you can't get a ticket for a departure? It's kind of a catch-22. This is really an unusual situation. Just be reasonable. Any questions, you can always give us a call. We're here for you. Now, what happens if you're in the United States and you're applying for a change of status, or you're applying to extend a status because of the coronavirus? Let's say you were here as you were here as a student, and now all of a sudden, school's closed. What happens to your visa? Well, say you don't want to take a chance, and you can't go back, so you file to change to a tourist. Or you're extending, you're going from a J1 to a tourist, or you're going from H1B to H2B to something else. There's a lot of potential circumstances here, but for simplicity's sake, you want to change your status or you want to extend your status. What do? Well, you need to document the efforts that you made to leave on time. So provide a copy of your original travel itinerary and what kept you from leaving on time. Well, the airport closed down. My flight contacted me canceling my flight and advising me that there are no flights available. Well, what were those emails? What was those correspondence? What was the text messages? What dates were you supposed to leave? It print out from the airport website or the USCIS website or the the airline showing that they were closed. That's proof. You need to show extraordinary circumstances. The fact that the airports are closed and flights are canceled will meet that standard, but you'll need to show that you acted reasonably and promptly after the emergency ended. If the emergency ends on April 1st and you don't do anything until September, you're gonna have a hard time showing that you were reasonable. Now, if you were sick and you were in a coma and you were in a hospital during those 3 months, that is perfectly understandable. Again, what's reasonable under the circumstances that you experienced? You just need to show that you were diligent. Let's go back to the situation where you're a student. Let's say you came here with financial aid. You came here with a scholarship. Everything was paid for. You didn't have to go through anything out of pocket. And let's say your family, you don't come from a family of means. Now you're here. Airport's closed. You can't go back home. The school is closed for the remainder of the year. Remember, the school where your housing was paid, your food was paid, and you had limited employment, so you had some income. Now the school closes and you lose all of that. What do? Well, that's a pretty severe economic hardship. You can apply for employment authorization because of unforeseen circumstances. For example, loss of financial aid or on-campus employment. That's the example I just gave you. Another one is substantial change in currency value. Let's say you had money and it was in pesos, and now it used to be 19 pesos to the dollar, but today it's 49 pesos to the dollar. That's a huge difference. If yesterday you had $100, today you got 30. Holy crap. Ask for employment authorization. Or another example, substantial increase in tuition or living costs. Well, everything's paid for on campus, but school's closed, and you can't stay there. Now you have to pay your own living expenses. Unexpected changes in financial support from your source of support. So imagine you're a student, your parents are supporting you, and they live in Italy or China. They're now not working, their resources are gone to crap, the stock market has crashed, so maybe the value of their finances has completely changed. They can't support you now, and you're stuck here. That's an unexpected change. Maybe you have medical bills or other substantial and unexpected expense. It needs to be reasonable. It needs to make sense. It can't just be, hey, I want work authorization. No, it's I need work authorization because of the following things that I could not have anticipated. I couldn't have expected that I would be kicked out of school, that the campus would close, that I wouldn't have my financial aid, I wouldn't have my job, and I wouldn't have any way to go back to my country, to my parents, to my home where I could be taken care of because I can't board a plane, because the airport's closed. I never thought that would happen. Who could have thought that would happen? I just got back from spring break and all of a sudden I'm stuck here. I worked for months to save to fly back. How am I going to pay to fly back the day I arrive? Or a week later, whatever it is. Again, it has to be substantial and it has to be unexpected. What to do if you're in deportation proceedings? For purpose of the conversation, we're talking about someone who's in proceedings and not presently detained. Because if you're detained, the courts are still open. For everybody else, most courts are closed until April 10th. I say most because not all of them are closed. I know it's ridiculous, and maybe by tomorrow they'll all close. But so far, the list of immigration courts that are closed nationwide now include Atlanta, West Peach Street, Charlotte, Houston, South Gessner Road, Louisville, Memphis, New York City, the Broadway office, New York City Federal Plaza, and Newark, Sacramento, and Los Angeles, Olive Street Immigration Court. So all of those are presently closed until April 10th, but this changes every day. So please call your attorney or call the automated system. It's in English and Spanish. Just dial 1-800-898-7180 toll free. That number again is 1-800-898-7180. You can call that number to obtain case status information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What kind of information? Remember, it's an automated system. You're not talking to a live person. And sometimes you're going to have to call multiple times because there are errors, there are issues. It's an old system. It's not new. It's not always very, very well maintained. So, what information can you find? Your next hearing date, time, and location. Now understand, if you have a date during the time that it's closed, it's not going to show you the next one. That will be updated once the court reopens. So don't be surprised if you had a court date and now all of a sudden it says that you have no court date. It doesn't mean your deportation is over. No, it just means you will have a court date. You can also find the immigration judge's decision, outcome, and date, assuming a decision was, meaning you had a trial and maybe you lost, or maybe a judge ordered your deportation, you had no idea. For whatever reason, if there was a decision, it'll tell you there, and it'll give you any appellate information, assuming it hadn't passed. So how do you access the information? Again, the number is 1-800-898-7180. Use the A number. It begins with the letter A, and it's followed by 8 or 9-digit number. This number is on all Department of Homeland Security and EOIR documents. That's basically, if you have an immigration document, it will have your A number on it. Check to see if your court is open. If it's closed, you will get rescheduled in the mail. If you don't have a court date, check each week until you do. That way, you don't miss anything. If you move, make sure, or if you have moved, you're supposed to fill out a form within 5 days of moving and notify the court of your new address. It's Form EOIR 33. EOIR stands for Executive Office Immigration Review. So EOIR 33 is the form you need to fill out to change your address. You got to do it in duplicate. One you send to the court, the other one you send to the government's attorney. It's called the Office of Chief Counsel. Use this time to get a good immigration attorney. If you have counsel and you're not happy with him or her, well, you can get a second opinion. Hopefully you are happy with him or her. Hopefully he or she is doing a good job and is informing you of what's going on. If you don't have an attorney, what are you waiting for? You know, you have I think results show more than 12 times approval rate with an attorney than without. It's some ridiculous number. Point is, no attorney, your chance of success is low. With an attorney, you have a much higher success, but obviously there's a difference between attorneys. Not all attorneys are created equally. What to do if you have an appointment with immigration? So, as of March 18th, USCIS has stopped in-person services at least until April 1st. Listen, folks, some things open up April 6th, some things open up April 10th, some things open up April 1st. I don't know that anything is going to open up right now. The way things are, again, last Monday we had 4,000 cases. This week we're at 45,000 cases today and climbing. If by next week we're at 100,000 or some crazy number like that, I don't see the courts or the agencies reopening yet. I don't see that happening. What's the justification? How can you say we're safe, no one's getting sick when the numbers keep on going up and everybody you know is getting sick? I know, or we've heard, that there was judges in Newark that were exposed. A government's attorney has tested positive for the coronavirus. There's conversation that there's certain DHS individuals that have tested positive. So it remains to be seen what will happen. But the information that we have is following March 18th and until April 1st, USCIS will continue to perform duties that don't involve in contact with the public. So if you filed an application, they will review it. They're looking for ways to find that you lied, that you're inadmissible, they're trying to put you in deportation proceedings. All that stuff is going to happen. Now they're just not going to meet with you and interview you. Not yet. So USCIS will provide emergency services for limited situations. You need to contact your local USCIS office to find out how they can help you. It's uscis.gov/contact center. Go to that website and it lists all the field offices for USCIS. Find the one that's closest to you. If you're in New Jersey or New York area, you have choices from. But if you're in the middle of the country, in Midwest, you may not even have an office in your state. So check before you go, because it might not be an hour drive. It may be a 4 or 5 or 6 hour drive. Check first. If you have an appointment during the closure, you will be automatically rescheduled. Now, it could be a fingerprint appointment. It could be a green card appointment, naturalization, asylum, oath ceremony for citizenship. Could be any one of those. You should get a new notice in the mail. But hey, government screws up way too often for my taste. I'm sure in 95% of situations they do a good job, but you don't want to be one of those 5%. So because the government makes mistakes, look at the notice that they send you. At the bottom portion, it includes instructions for how to request that your appointment be rescheduled. I would follow those instructions and I would request a new date, even though USCIS is closed. Don't wait for them to notify you. You make the request. This protects you, but make sure you file the request before the scheduled appointment or immediately thereafter. Let's say you could say, listen, I was waiting to see if you would reopen. It was for April 2nd. You said you were going to reopen April 1st. You didn't reopen April 1st. So on April 2nd, I sent you the request. You got it afterwards. Okay, that makes sense. Now, if you had an appointment on March 24th, don't send your request for a new date in September. Not rational. It doesn't make sense. You waited too long. The point is to protect you. because immigration makes mistakes. So keep a copy of your record. I have seen situations where filed documents requested an adjournment because travel arrangements for my client. The supervisor agrees, says, yes, we understand, we're going to reschedule you. And all of a sudden you get a notice in the mail, you failed to appear. Or how about they request more information? You provide the information, but then they deny your case for not having responded, even though you have proof that you did respond and you responded timely. Mistakes happen. It's a reality. So we at andresmejerlaw, we prepare for the worst, but we hope for the best. So we work very hard to protect our clients. That's what I'm suggesting that you do. This is what I would do if I was representing you. If you're feeling sick, don't take any chances. Even if USCIS has reopened, make a request for an adjournment explaining your symptoms and why you can't make it. Listen, it's better safe than sorry. What if you don't know your immigration status? What do? Well, we can help you. We are still open on a limited basis. Give us a call. Let's talk about your individual case. Don't wait until you find yourself in ICE custody. Yes, ICE is still working. They don't stop. So even though people are sick, I assume they will be, curtailing their removal process. They say that they are, but at the same token, they say that they're not. It's like Trump. On Monday they say one thing, on Tuesday they say something else, and you're like, wait, were you being honest on Monday or being honest on Tuesday? Who knows? So that's the situation where we find ourselves. It would be nice. It would, you would be humane. You would think ICE would not be going out, round people up, and then putting them in a detention center where they can get sick. I would hope ICE isn't doing that. So don't wait until you find yourself in ICE custody. Find out your options today. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to our channel. Share it with your friends and family. If you're interested in immigration, let others know, because we believe that an informed client is the best client, and we work really hard to make sure you get the best available information for you. Stay tuned. Until next time.